or I should say my friend and my guest today is Solaris BlueRaven, and she is a publisher, author, public speaker. She's published author, I should say, public speaker. She's a timeline astrologer, a healer, an MT healer, a remote viewer, clairvoyant, and specialist in psychotronic warfare, synthetic telepathy, and covert technology, which is what we're going to be discussing today, along with other things. She is a world-class natural psychic and a cosmic advisor. Miss BlueRaven has been a test pilot for the covert technology and has a professional background in surveillance. She investigates global anomalies in addition to her current research. She is a professional writer with several books on covert technology and psychotronic warfare. You can purchase her books at Amazon.com or Author House Books. Transmutation Through Ascension, 2004 publication. Eye of the Remote, Black Operations in Areas Beyond 52, 2008 publication. Mr. Sun and the Halloween Ball, 2010 publication. Programmed by Deception, Eye of the Remote Series 2, 2012 publication. 1 Million Miles in Midnight, coming soon. And Solaris has a DVD documentary called Eye of the Remote, a disclosure of a covert technology, which is available on her website, Night Shadow Anomaly Detectives. She is a producer-director of the founder of Raven Films and Night Shadow Anomaly Detectives. And, of course, she has her own show here on Revolution Radio. So do check that out. I'm sure you already have, because it's an amazing show. So I just wanted to thank you so much, Solaris, for joining us today. And I'm real excited to hear what is new, what's going on with you new. And I want to ask you tonight, we'll talk about this subject later, but there's something going on with these martial law trainings in Texas, Utah, and parts of California. And I just wondered if you heard anything about them, because I've been talking to people who live in the area and have already been told that their town is going to be locked down under martial law somewhere in July and August. So I just wondered if you knew anything about that, and we'll talk about that if you do a little later. But welcome, Solaris.
Well, thank you, Miesha. Thanks for having me on. It's such a pleasure to be joining you today. So thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. Did you want me to answer on that Jade Helm thing?
Yeah. Let's
it's interesting. I think there's just an exercise, to be honest with you. I believe it's a psyop. That's my own take on it, is that they're just trying to project fear. They're trying to control the collective through an agenda, and people are speculating, and there's too many people with loose mouths, not really understanding what's really going on. And of course, more and more people are getting momentum. And of course, that's the idea, is to really to get the whole collective in and pull them into that psyop. So they're already pulled into a psyop because of their intent and their energies already getting sucked down in the black hole, so to speak. So it's my take. It's just an exercise. And so far as a psyop exercise, I don't think anything huge is going to come out of it, to be honest. I really don't. I think we have bigger and more intense things that are happening that are obfuscated. There's an obfuscation going on right now. We've got things coming in from the outside. When I say outside, I'm talking planetarily, off-world. I think there are some big things and events that are coming in, and that will be coming in through probably you'll see them before 2016 in the spring. It's my intent. It's my own impression of it anyway.
Yeah. Well, the people I were talking about are people from my group, and they feel, as well as I do, that they're a UFO hotspot, this particular town that it's in. That they're going to be having this at. And she's kind of wondering, and they're kind of wondering, that is there some kind of connection to that as well. So we're just going to watch. It's very interesting, because the Texas is not going well with this. They're bringing in their own Texas Guard and what do they call their police? The Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to just kind of monitor things as well. So also, there's Walmarts that are being closed down so that they can have something going on there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about that too. Well, I know the military is notorious for staking power spots. Covert intelligence programs do that, and they also stake people too, energetically speaking. Of course, that's when the induction comes in, so you know that. But
Yes.
yeah, that's all going on. So I'm not surprised that they're looking or actually checking out and trying to map or maybe stake territories in anomalous areas. I'm not surprised to hear that at all.
Yes, yeah. So I just found that out today and wanted to get your take on it. So, with that being said, please go ahead and just share whatever you'd like to share. You can start.
Oh, I don't know. Where do you want me to start? I mean, I have such a strong background in so many different areas, but obviously the covert technology is really big, and people who know me and follow my work already know where I've been insofar as the induction and all the things that have happened to me with artificial intelligence and the induction with artificial telepathy and my handler and all that. So wherever you want to start is really okay. I can recap a few things here and there. I will say that I've been doing more and more research on the artificial intelligence program, and I'm pretty certain that this is something that's being, I've talked about it being deployed globally, and I'm pretty sure it is, even though people will scoff and say, well, they're not being affected. I believe they are being affected and calibrated. I think they're getting affected on a very low scale right now to a point where there'll actually be, easier. It'll be easier for them to be pulled into these programs. So that's my own take on it anyway.
Mm-hmm. So do talk a little bit more about the artificial intelligence and what you've uncovered.
Well, the artificial intelligence program, these people are talking about these quantum computers in Utah and all this other garbage. That's nothing compared to the underground black technology I'm talking about. We've got real high-tech artificial intelligence based on basically an array system that's used people's brain templates, abilities, and infused them into the communication system over decades and centuries, just about to a point where it actually has a very fine-tuned design to it. And that's the artificial intelligence I'm talking about. We're talking about something that's way more powerful than the crap that they're trying to deploy, excuse my French, on mainstream insofar as what they're trying to show you. It's way more than that. This technology is way more than that, and it's using the brain development of psychics, true natural telepathy, starseeds. Anybody who's brilliant, people get tagged and inducted into these programs, and they use those brain templates, and they're putting them and inducting them and infusing them into the artificial intelligence program. So it's a black satellite technology array system is what we're dealing with here. I call it the black umbrella, and I've touched on it before, but that's pretty much what it is.
Oh, okay. So what would an artificial intelligence look like?
Well, these intelligence systems they look like mass supercomputer design work, but they don't look like any type of cray you'll ever encounter. They certainly don't look like the ones that they're talking about in Utah in any form or design. I've glimpsed a few of the technological boards, so to speak, and a lot of it looks like symbiotic. A lot of it looks like a hybridization between covert black technology from black space program versus a manufactured version of a computer system. So a lot of it I would say it's a mix between the two. I do know that, those of us who have been involved in this artificial intelligence, I mean, I can tell you point blank, it's you're literally part of the scenery. You can project back to it. It can project back to you. People who get inducted in these programs have the ability to swing the door both ways. And I think people need to understand that because once people get involved in these artificial intelligence, they think that it's one-sided. It's not one-sided at all. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I did a lot of damage to their communication system back in 2004, just to give you an idea. I don't want to get into details about it, but I've done a lot of research, and I've gone back, and I've tried to recapture a few things that I went through in my own memory, and, it really showed me a lot. So anyways, anybody who's interested in what really happened to me, they can check my book out, either Remote Black Operations and Areas Beyond 52. Of course, that was put out in 2008, and that covers the entire induction process and what it involves. And, I was talking about this stuff a long time ago, and now people are starting to talk about their artificial intelligence, and now you can use these links and these chips to help move body parts and I get that, and that's great. But I'll tell you right now, once you realize, if you better pray you never get involved in this artificial intelligence, and you better pray you never get interfaced with what I was, because you will not last. You think it's easy to be a hybridization of a technology? Think again. It's not.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Miesha, I have anomaly signals. This is provable technology. This isn't wah-wah, woo-woo stuff that lives out in fantasy land. We're talking about real tactical hardware here. We're talking about stuff that has patents that are classified. If you talk to, I think Dr. John Hall just has a new movie coming out now called Targeted, which is another tentacle of the beast, because you have inductees, you have starseeds, you have MyLabs, you have artificial intelligence test pilots, and then you've got targeted individuals. Targeted individuals spike up when they reject the program. If they can't be entrained and they can't be controlled, then they will attack them. And that's where the targeted individuals come in.
Oh, that's such good information. See, I have so many targeted individuals come into my group, and it's not happened to me in the same way, especially with the psychotronic weaponry and such. And so I just don't know what to say to them and why. So it's something that's they've done, not really done.
Well, it's a tentacle of the same beast. And I would say sometimes these people get targeted. It depends on their profiling insofar as their work experience, their connections to CIA and government, if they have family connected to government, military, covert intelligence, any form or design. It doesn't matter if you're a great nephew. I'm not kidding. It really has something to do with being interconnected with high-profile people, and then eventually getting tagged or looked at or inducted if they fit a requirement. Sometimes they do it for their own amusement, and a lot of people will say, "Well, it's random." It's not random at all. These people are pre-selected. I can guarantee you that. There's nothing random.
Before birth, would you say?
I would say I don't know if it's before birth or not, to be honest with you, because I had a great childhood and I grew up into a wonderful adult and had a great marriage and happy life until the induction took place with the band Rush. So I'll tell you point blank, I don't believe it's actually. I don't think it's childhood, but I do believe that there are star seeds that incarnate onto this planet that have specific abilities and gifts that are usually very profound at young ages. And when they do that, that puts them on the radar for covert intelligence because they track all anomalous activity, and that includes Starseed, which of course is extraterrestrial, or what I call off-world. We are not from here, and you know that, and I know that. We have Starseed blood. That's our celestial heritage. We have cellular memory. We can access this through frequency. It's a DNA activation thing. This is ancient mystery school teachings, and I touch on this a lot because that's really what we are. And once we access this ability, you were talking about, accessing your psychic abilities. That's all there. It's a given. Once you start using your abilities, you'll be put more on the radar, and of course, induction takes place if they're looking at you or if someone has brought the attention onto you and spotlighted you for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. I've thought over and over again why I was targeted, but then I look back in my childhood and I was communicating with ETs very early in life, and I believe that might have been some of the things, that they wanted. Right. I also had psychic abilities. I didn't even know that we were psychic. I just thought they were normal.
Right, exactly. That's how I was. And of course, it's cellular memory. You have a soul record too. What people have to realize, they're not just these, you have a suit, but you're actually a being with a soul record, an ancient soul, celestial heritage. Some souls are beyond 26 billion years old. We're talking ancient souls who have access to a lot of data. And with that comes access to ancient technology, how to use the technology. A lot of people who say they're being pulled into my labs and they're all of a sudden being trained to do things, I don't believe that. I think they already know how to do these things. I think they're being manipulated into the black projects. I think they're the ones that need to learn how to navigate a lot of this technology, and they're using us as guinea pigs to do it.
Makes a lot of sense. Absolutely.
Well, just like the psychics. For me, I'm a natural telepath. So when I was hit with the communication system, I was laughing and I said, "You guys got to be kidding me. This is man-made." It was so half-assed. I knew damn well, excuse me my French, that it was literally a man-made communication system.
Right.
And of course, I busted the whole thing wide open. And, if you talk to anybody, if they call it artificial telepathy, I call it synthetic telepathy. It's the same thing. But they've mastered this technology very, very well. And if you're wired for it and you get interfaced with it, you're going to have to fight it unless you really want to be pulled into some kind of a collective where you have no free will. Because I'll tell you point blank, that program is vicious.
Yes. So, I've got questions, but we're going to wait until the last hour to answer those questions, right?
Yeah, that's whatever you want to do, Miesha. It's your show.
Well, would it break your stride if we did?
No, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
As long as they're coherent and they're not like la-la questions.
Yes, right. And I had a great question here until I read that person's question. But I wanted to know, about the telepathy. I found this so much now with experiencers and starseeds that we have a natural telepathy with the ETs. And it never dawned on me until I was underground base that I could hear what the ETs were saying, but nobody else could. And so they couldn't, I'm sure that's one of the reasons that they were interested in us is because of that telepathy and, of course, the other psychic things, and every other reason, they want to know all about the ships and things like that. But I just found that very interesting when it was kind of like a download for me one day. I went, oh, I get it. I get it now.
Right. There's a difference between a natural connection on a psychic level and a telepathic level, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. A lot of the times, a natural psychic, a natural clairaudient or clairvoyant will actually tune into a frequency band and be able to interpolate the data through geometric light language. That's a true starseed. When you start hearing a manufactured dialogue, and I'm not talking about what you went through, but I'm talking about the stuff that's artificial telepathy based through the covert intelligence program, it just reeks of mortals. I mean, it reeks. They give themselves away too easily because there's no way they can mask themselves as anything but what I call subhumans. So you'll know them by the way they communicate and how they communicate, and usually it's interrogation based. But yeah, now you're a naturally gifted telepath. I mean, most people do have that ability, but they don't switch it on. They're usually dumbed down at birth. They have usually families that don't support that kind of a gift, or they go through school and induction where you're trained in school to shut everything off, switch everything down, so to a point where you're not really accentuating that ability. Now, if you do the spiritual work, I've been on the spiritual path for a long time, and I know you have. And I mean, once you start doing this and you receive initiations and your vibratory rate goes up, your light body starts switching on and your Merkaba goes on. Then you get there and you start really understanding consciousness and how telepathy, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient works. And that includes everything else associated. But what they're doing is piggybacking off of your natural ability, interfacing it onto the artificial intelligence, usually with a live handler, real time, which is what they did to me, and a computer programmer, operators, and a lot of different staff and personnel that sit there and play a lot of games with psychotronic warfare. So it gets ugly.
Oh, yes. Yes, it does. So when you're talking galactic... okay, you're talking galactic light language. Now, are you talking about the